Have you ever seen those super slick animated 3D titles and just wondered, how do they even do that? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly how to take a simple word and turn it into a professional-grade animation, all inside Blender.
And this is where we're heading. We're going to go from a totally blank slate to this finished piece right here. Just look at those custom edges, the clean lighting, and that subtle kind of living motion that makes it feel so polished.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This looks really complex, but I promise you, the actual process is incredibly straightforward once you learn a few key tricks inside Blender.
We're going to cover the whole workflow. First, creating the 3D text itself, then giving it a really custom style, adding some effortless motion, and finally rendering it all out with a transparent background so you can use it anywhere. Let's dive in.
Okay, first up, we've got to build our foundation, the basic 3D text object. Getting this part right is the bedrock for literally everything else we're going to do.
So you might be thinking, why not just use a plugin for this? And that's a fair question, but the answer is really simple. It's all about control. When you build a text as a native 3D object, you get total command over its geometry, and that is an absolute game changer for getting a truly custom look.
The initial setup is super fast. You just add a text object, stand it up with a quick 90-degree rotation, and then you hop over to the text properties. From there, you just give it some depth with the extrude slider and pick a font that really fits your style.
You can add a standard bevel right away to get a softer edge, and honestly, that looks pretty good. But to get that really high-end, detailed look, we need to go way beyond the basic sliders.
And that brings us to Section 2, Styling with Custom Profiles. This is where we go from good to great. This is where the real magic happens.
You know, I think every creator has felt this. You hit a wall with the default tools, you know you want a more detailed, more unique edge on your text, but the path to get there just isn't obvious. Well, this next technique is the answer.
Okay, look at the difference here in creative freedom. A standard bevel, it gives you a simple, uniform edge. It's fine, but a custom profile lets you design any shape you can possibly imagine for that edge. We're talking incredible professional-level detail.
And the workflow for this is so simple. You just create a tiny little Bezier curve, you go to your text object and tell it to use that curve as its bevel object, and then you just start editing the shape of the curve to sculpt the edge of your text. And this is what makes this technique so incredibly powerful. As you move the points on that small curve, you literally see the profile of your 3D text update in real time. It's a completely direct, totally intuitive way to add amazing detail.
So our text looks awesome, but static graphics can feel a little, well, dead. That subtle, professional motion is what really separates good from great. And thankfully, you do not need hours of manual keyframing to get it.
Let me introduce you to the noise modifier. Now, this isn't in the usual modifier stack. It's a little hidden away inside the graph editor. It's a fantastic tool designed to automatically generate random, natural-looking animation on pretty much any property you choose.
So to use it, all you have to do is set one single keyframe on whatever property you want to animate, let's say location. That makes it show up in the graph editor, and from there, you can just add the noise modifier to it.
And you really only need to play with these 3 sliders to get complete artistic control. Strength is how intense the movement is, scale is how fast it is, and phase just randomizes the whole pattern. It's that easy.
Now, here's the pro tip that really sells this effect. You can copy this modifier to the Y and Z axis, but, and this is the important part, change the phase value on each one. This makes sure the movement on each axis is different, creating a much more organic and non-repetitive motion.
All right, we are in the home stretch. We've built it, we've styled it, and we've animated it. Now it's time to create that final product using Blender's real-time render engine, Eevee.
I absolutely love this analogy because it's so perfect. See, unlike Cycles, which painstakingly simulates real light, Eevee uses a whole bunch of clever tricks and shortcuts to produce amazing results at unbelievable speeds. It's all fakery, but it's really, really effective fakery.
And one of its biggest hacks is that it works in what's called screen space. Basically, this just means it forgets about anything that's not directly in the camera's view, which is a huge reason why it's so incredibly fast.
Okay, so for an asset like this animated text, you're almost always going to want to render it with a transparent background. That way you can easily overlay it onto other videos or graphics without any hassle.
And you're going to love this. It's just a simple 2-step process. First, you tell Blender to output an RGBA file. That A stands for alpha, which means transparency. Then you just go to the film settings and check the transparent box. That's literally it. And that's the whole workflow. We started with just a basic text object, and in just a few minutes, we've turned it into a fully styled and animated graphic that's ready to be used absolutely anywhere. So you now have the complete workflow, from a single word to a living, breathing graphic. The question on the screen really says it all. Now that you have these tools, what stories will your words tell?